Hi. So I got a message today, and I felt like sharing the message just in case anyone else might need to hear it. So I was driving today. I was driving home from work earlier today, and I'm listening to YouTube Music, which is my preferred platform. And you know how they create this personal soundtrack based on your likes, based on things that you search for, and what you often listen to. So I'm listening to like R&B mix. All of a sudden I get gospel song that comes on. Now I don't normally listen to gospel at all. Once in a while, I'll find a video that really attracts me, but or that I like the song that really speaks to me, but it's not often that I drive and I listen to gospel music. So I guess what I'm trying to put across is that this was very unusual for me. So the song comes on. I'm not even really paying any mind. I'm on autopilot driving home. When I start realizing what the melody is, and it's clear as day that it's a Christian song, it's a gospel song. I look down at the title, and the title is "The Storm Is Over" by Kirk Franklin. And I mean, you have to go listen to it. Go listen to it. It's a beautiful song, and from the beginning is that the storm is over. I can finally feel like I'm making it through. So I am feeling it. I'm like, oh, thank you for the message. I needed to hear this right now, right? And then the second verse comes on and says, even when you walk alone, you're never on your own. And that just hit home so hard for me. I related to that so much because being alone, being lonely has been a thing that I've personally struggled with for a long time. And I know many people struggle with the idea of being alone. Um, and that's why you're always around people. You need friends that they're not beneficial for you, or you're in jobs that they're not beneficial to you, and in relationships that are really toxic, and you feel like you always have to be around somebody. And whatever the case is, like for me, it's even like my family is so far away. I think any immigrant can relate to that. You move, you don't have people that you grew up with, that you went to school with, that you have things in common with, right? So it's very different. It's a different type of alone. um and even though as alone I have ever felt, I was never on my own. Because God, I'm so grateful that I am so protected, so blessed, and despite this constant loneliness or alone feeling that I have, I've been able to achieve so much and be so much and overcome so much, and I continue to, regardless. Now, in connection to the song and the message that the song by itself brings, I was also visualizing something, which is why it's so, this means so much to me. And as I'm listening to the song, I realized that I'm imagining a person, like a head, piercing through the water, coming on top, to just like you would kind of get air. And and I thought about being underwater. I mean, even I can relive what I was visualizing so clearly, almost like I was witnessing someone underwater. And when you're in the water, um, you can't really see, even if you open your eyes, which is uncomfortable. But let's say you open your eyes, everything's blurry, right? You can't really assess distance. You can look at the bottom, maybe the water is clear, maybe you can see the bottom, but you still don't know how far, how deep that is, right? You always have to like kind of touch and feel. You might go down, right? And if you look on top, if you ever notice when you dive in the water, if you look on top, it's also like the top never really looks close. You can see light, but especially I'm thinking in ocean water, you have no perspective of where the surface is, and that's a question that we ask ourselves throughout life so often. Like, when does it get better? Like, where's the light at the end of the tunnel, and so forth. So same same thing for me. You can see the light through the water, but geez, how much more do I have to swim? Imagine if you're drowning. Imagine if you're running out of air. And the second part to this is like, if you're underwater, immediately it took me to last year when me and my daughter, we were in the ocean in Connecticut, and the tide changed, and I am not a good swimmer, and she wasn't a good swimmer at that time either. And I freaked out because, if I can barely help myself, how am I gonna bring her to surface? And when I started touching, the bottom to try to walk back, because we walked all the way there. Now the tide changed. There's no one else around, and I'm like, okay, Ona, let's hurry up and go. I am barely touching the bottom, and as I'm moving, I'm feeling the bottom less and less. Like, now I have to go underwater to catch it. So I am complete inside my mind and my heart. I am freaking out, because Ona's there with me. Like, if I was alone, I think I could figure out a way out. But because Ona was there, I started freaking out. So my immediate reaction was to not move. I found a spot where I could touch the ground on my toes if I was standing on my toes, and I could hold Ona at the same time. And my decision was, I was not gonna move, and I'm just gonna wait to see for somebody that comes around to help me. Luckily, when I looked around, there was a boat, and I called for help. They heard me, and they came right away, thank God. But it made me think the same thing. Imagine if you're underwater and you can't really assess the depth of it, right? You might be touching the ground, maybe you're not. Maybe you just sink underwater, waves crossing on top of you. You're not gonna have the courage to move much further, right? You might run out of air. You might try to struggle to get to surface and still get pulled down. Right? So you might just say, oh, freak out and sit in the same spot. But then I see this person just finally, like, all of a sudden, like, stretching out and shooting through the water. And here comes to the surface, like, beautiful blue sky, sun is shining, and just this person just comes out and just, just stares at the sun, at the sky, and just, opens up. It's like, oh my God, I'm free, like, breaking free. And the storm is finally over now, and you can feel that you're making it through because you're breaking free. You're overcoming fears. You're taking a risk. You're taking a chance. You're betting on yourself. You're putting yourself first. You're working on yourself. You're working on your kids. You're a better mom. You're a better father. You acquire new skills, and you travel and you educate yourself, because education is the key to everything. So you're breaking free. Congratulations.